My ears still buzz from the last blast. Inside this Leman Russ battle tank, every impact from outside slams around like a god's fury in a tin box. The steel decking quivers under my boots while I brace against the turret wall. The air is heavy with the reek of burned promethium, hot metal, and sweat. It's so cramped in here that 5 unwashed bodies and engine fumes just merge into the background. Boom. They say war is hell. For those of us in the Imperial Guard, war isn't only hell, it's home. And this tank, this is my entire world. 4 in of plasteel armor is all that stands between me and my crew and a very messy end. Out there, past these welded plates, a howling mass of orcs is doing everything it can to turn us into scrap and bloody stains. A harsh clang rings out as something skitters off the hull. A rocket-propelled grenade just skated off our side plate with a hideous clang, rattling the whole machine. The hit slams me back into my seat, and for a heartbeat, the periscope image shivers. I grind my teeth so hard I'm sure the enamel cracks. Can't tell if it's my jaw or the viewport. Incoming left side, I bark into the intercom, voice raw. My throat tastes like copper and ash. Through my cupola's vision slit, I catch a flash of green bodies swarming through shattered buildings and burning hulks. Orcs, dozens of them, pouring forward under a sky-stained orange with dust and fire. Just another charming afternoon on some Emperor-forsaken war zone whose name I never bothered to learn. Another day for an Imperial Guard tank crew. I'm a tank commander of the Astra Militarum, Imperial Guard to anyone else. A proud cog in the 18th Cadian Armored Regiment. Pride doesn't count for much when you're neck-deep in orcs and your tank's about to brew up. They dropped us on this rock a couple months back to stop an orc push. Now every sunrise is a scramble to stay alive. If hell has a street address, it's out there on these killing fields. Intercom chatter spikes, voices overlap. I hear my crew swearing through the Vox as we work. "Damn greenkins," snarls my gunner, slewing the turret onto target. "Loaded," yells my loader, ramming a shell into the breach with a metallic thunk. I can barely make them out over the engine's roar and the thud-thud-thud of our hull-heavy bolter chewing on full auto. Spent casings clink and bounce around my boots in the turret basket. Every time the main gun speaks, the wham nearly lifts the hull and makes my ears pop. The recoil piston hisses. Acrid propellant smoke threads into the oily engine stink. Welcome to my humble home. We live here, fight here, and if the Emperor decrees it, we'll die here. Inside this iron coffin we call Emperor's Mercy. That's the name scrawled on the flank of our Leman Russ in chipped white high Gothic. A slice of dark guard humor. Mercy's rare out here, from Emperor or enemy, but it's the name we've got. We bless our machines with grand titles and prayers, hoping some favor rubs off. I'm Sergeant Viktor Steen, tank commander, veteran of more campaigns than I care to count. Cadian born and bred. I was raised to fight. I don't crow Cadian stands every 5 minutes like a parade ground zealot, but it's in the blood. I've done this soldiering more than 20 years, give or take. Time smears an endless war. I'm pushing 40 standard years, I think. After what I've seen, I feel 100. War in the 41st millennium ages a man fast. I've driven Emperor's Mercy through tours that would turn a civilian's hair white and sour the soul. The crew, those not blown to fragments, are the closest thing I've got to family. When you're jammed together in a tank, eating, sleeping, fighting in the same 30 cubic feet day after day, you either become brothers or you murder each other. We mostly chose brothers. Mostly. Let me name the poor souls crammed in here with me while I've got a second between near deaths. Up front in the driver's cradle is Trooper McCall Voss. Quiet hive-worlder. I never pronounce the place right. He's thin for a tanker, but he can thread this 60-ton brute through the eye of a needle when it counts. Voss doesn't waste words. He's busy whispering to the machine spirit or cursing the gearbox. Right now he's probably hunched over the sticks, knuckles white, hauling every scrap of speed and bite from the engine as we jink under fire. If the tank's a beast, Voss holds the leash and the spurs. In the turret with me, 2 more souls. On the big gun sits Corporal Jorn Oksar. We call him Ox, built like one and just as subtle. Emperor bless him, he's the best gunner I've ever had. Cadian like me, one of the few left from the original crew when this grind began. Ox wears a permanent scowl and arms thicker than some orcs, but his calm never wavers, even when the world is coming apart. He murmurs to the cannon like it's a sweetheart, and his aim is so true, you'd swear he had augmetic eyes. If Ox locks a target, it's smoldering moments later. Wedged beside him is our loader, Private Danel Roar. youngest of us, barely 19 and fresh-faced, though right now he's black with soot and orc grime like the rest. Dan replaced the last loader a couple months back, after the poor sod took a faceful of shrapnel. Emperor keep Brenner's soul. The kid was green as an agri-world spring, shaking hands and all, but fire taught him fast. His fingers still quiver when the shells start flying, but he doesn't freeze. He heaves those 20-kilo rounds and slams them into the breach like his life depends on it, because it does. Daniel's got a nervous grin and a habit of cracking jokes at the worst times, but he's earned his place. I see a lot of myself in him, long ago. Finally, Trooper Levin and Trooper Hale ride the sponsons, right and left hull guns. Emperor's Mercy mounts twin-side heavy bolter sponsons, and these two unlucky souls sit in those claustrophobic pods to work them. Levin's an old, grizzled Vistrone with a cybernetic eye and a temperament as sour as weak old Amasek. He's always griping about kids and rations, but when it's hot, he never fails. Hale's wiry, from some backwater agree planet, nervous energy for days, always humming under his breath to keep steady. Both new this week, after the regiment finally spared us replacement sponson gunners. The previous pair, well, they left feet first. Levan and Hale may be new to our family, but they're already earning their marks tonight, flooding the lanes with hot lead. So that's us, 6 jammed in a metal box, soaked in sweat under flak armor and padded lids. A family blend of veterans and rookies. Different worlds, different quirks. But inside this hull, we're one creature, a foul-mouthed, emperor-loving unit that will butcher anything that threatens one of us. That's the unspoken law of tankers. It's us against the galaxy. And right now, the galaxy is an ocean of orcs trying to drown us. Sarge, target front, distance 300, mob in the open. Ox's voice crackles in my cans, calm but urgent. I blink sweat away, press my face to the tacky rubber of the vision block. Sure enough, across the rubble-strewn avenue, I see them. A pack of orc boys with crude axes and rusted shooters spilling from behind a toppled hablock. A green tide surging at our line, bellowing their cursed war cry. What? Their guttural roar rolls over us like a foul wind. Emperor's teeth, that's a lot of orcs. Gunner, high explosive on that mob, I order, keeping my tone level. He loaded! Danel shouts. He's already muscled a fat HE shell into the chamber, slams the breach shut, and signals Ox. For a moment, I picture him in the red glow, face smeared, muscles straining, eyes wide on adrenaline, a teenager doing a man's job in a world gone mad. Fire! Boom! The Leman Russ's main gun speaks with authority. The crack is deafening even through our insulated helmets. The whole chassis lurches back on recoil, tracks grinding over broken stone. Through the scope, I watch the shell land dead center in the mob. An instant later, the blast blossoms, a fireball lighting the dusk, followed by a shockwave of dirt and meat. A dozen orcs vanish in one stroke, green pulp and scrap. One heartbeat, there's a charging mass. The next, a crater and raining chunks of charred orc. A cheer crackles somewhere over the Vox. Maybe nearby guardsmen, hard to hear over our engine and guns. When the smoke thins, there's a gaping hole in the charge. But the green tide doesn't care. More of them climb over their own mangled dead without pause. Orcs don't bother with fear or self-preservation. They only understand fighting, terrifying and tragically stupid. Hullgun, keep them suppressed, I shout to Voss and Danel. Our hull-mounted heavy bolter hammers, spitting a stream of Heist-caliber bolts into the wave. Each is a self-propelled explosive slug the size of a man's thumb. The roar blends into a steady thunder. I feel the vibration through the steel as the belt races. Tracers stitch the gloom and orcs start dropping, blown apart in wet sprays when the mass reactives connect. One head pops into a pink mist. Another torso bursts, guts splattering the grit. Still they come, shrieking and spraying their crude guns as they advance. Their return fire clatters in a ragged storm. Bullets of every caliber ping and spang from our plates. A few heavier hits, likely orc heavy shooters, wham into us, making the hull ring like a cursed bell. My teeth rattle. The tank shudders as if insulted, but Emperor's Mercy was built to shrug off worse. Praise the God Emperor for plastil and adamantine skins. So long as nothing big lands, we're fine. Then a whoosh and a smoke trail. An orc on our flank fires a rocket that slams into the ground a few meters off. Shrapnel lashes our left side. Inside, it sounds like hail on thin roofing. The hull rocks. Warning runes flicker on a panel. One of the external fuel drums probably lit off, but those are auxiliary. No immediate brew-up, I judge. Ork rocket team, 8 shy behind that wrecked Chimera, Hale reports from his sponson, voice tight. He's got a cleaner view of that arc than I do from the cupola. I see the flash. Engaging, Levan growls from the right sponson. His heavy bolter swings to the left arc where Hale called it. Levan's heavy bolter bellows. A heartbeat later, the Rocketeer is cleaved in half by the storm. One round blows his arm and launcher off. Another detonates in his chest, tearing him apart. 2 scurrying Gretchen beside him turn to red fog. Levan cackles over the Vox. Got the Zogan rocket boy. He's using Zogan, orky slang we humans borrow to swear without a commissar's glare. I smirk despite myself. Good kill. Keep the flanks clean. No green skin gets within spitting distance. Acknowledgements snap back. We all know the stakes. Let them swarm up close and they'll climb the hull, plant charges, pry hatches. That ends ugly. We've all heard the tales. A tank bogged under a wave of orcs, crew cooked alive or torn out. Not my choice of funeral. Reverse, keep space, I tell Voss. The engine bellows and we jutter backward. He's already in reverse, keeping us clear of the thickest press. Emperor's Mercy isn't nimble, but it rolls over anything. Debris, craters, bodies. The tracks churn. We lurch twice as we bump over what was probably an orc too bold by half. Better them than us. I kick the cupola hatch and rise half out for a wider picture. Sometimes you unbutton despite the risk. The panorama is worth it. Hot wind and smoke bite my face. The battlefield's din swells. Orc bellows, crack snap of our infantry's laser guns, distant artillery thumping. The sky is a churn of black and crimson. The sun must be sinking somewhere behind that pall. Dusk blends into firelit ruin. I swivel and scan along our line. Fights like ours burn everywhere. To my left, through the bones of hab blocks, I spot another Leman Russ from our company. Call sign Iron Fist, belching a hull-mounted heavy flamer that turns a knot of orcs into walking torches. To the right, beyond a shattered statue of the Emperor, ironic spot for one, a Cadian squad crouches behind sandbags, firing crisp volleys of loss. One trooper works a tripod-heavy stubber, tracers pouring into the horde. Even as I watch, a mob overruns them. The stubber gunner goes down to a chain axe swung by a massive orc knob. The rest fall back, brutal hand-to-hand. A commissar's bolt pistol barks nearby. I glimpse him executing a retreating guardsman. Maybe panic, maybe the commissar's judgment. Either way, mercy's scarce on both sides. I grimace and face forward, our fight first. A trio of orc war buggies screams onto the main road ahead, engines howling. Junkyard dune buggies armored with welded plates and bristling with guns. They flit like gnats, hunting a flank or weak seam. One whips past a burning crater, its gunner spewing a wild hail from a scavenged autoc cannon. Multiple light vehicles front, 200 meters and closing. I vox to nearby friendlies, then shout to Ox, pick up those cursed buggies, a P rounds now. Ox slews the turret with a mechanical work, tracking the lead buggy. Daniel already cradles an armor-piercing round. He slams it home and shouts up, round ready. Firing, Ox says, steady as stone. Boom. The AP shell knifes out and punches through the lead war buggy. The warhead pops inside the hull. The flimsy frame just comes apart. Wheels and scrap vomit outward. The driver and gunner turn to red paste. 1 second it's racing at us. The next, a black fireball rolling to a stop. Direct. Scratch one buggy, Ox reports, a hint of satisfaction in it. The second buggy swerves around the wreck and keeps coming, launching what looks like a crude missile, probably a scavenged hunter-killer. The screaming dart skims our turret close enough to wash us in heat, then detonates against a building behind, blasting concrete skyward. Emperor's Mercy, I spit, ducking on instinct. Too close. I drop back into the cup and grab the pintle-mounted heavy stub as I go. It's the commander's top turret machine gun. I thumb the trigger and rake the second buggy. The stubber's slug sparked from its armored snout, keeping the gunner's head down, but not stopping the charge. I catch the Orsi driver's fanged grin behind that makeshift windscreen. He means to ram or toss a grenade. Ox, traverse right now. Danell load canister, beehive. We've got a couple canister rounds. Giant shotgun shells for the main gun. Perfect for close, soft targets. Danell shoves one in while Ox swings the barrel. On, Ox snaps. Fire. Boom, the note's different. The canister bursts just ahead of the speeding buggy, a giant shotgun blast. Hundreds of steel balls scythe the front. The driver becomes rags in a blink. The engine tears apart. The frame cartwheels into a masonry heap. The gunner flies clear, skidding minus half his limbs. He won't trouble anyone. The third buggy skids to a stop at a safer distance, thinks better of it, and starts backing off, peppering us with half-hearted fire before ducking into cover. Fine, run. Before I savor that, a new sound growls from the left, a metal groan and a crash. Through the dust, something massive forces through a ruined hab block. At first I think it's a collapsing wall. Then I see purpose in the motion. It steps into the fire-washed half-light and my gut tightens. An orc death dread. A clanking orc walker of buzzsaws and power claws, like a smaller orc spin on a dreadnought. This one's hammered together from scavenged plates, vomiting smoke and dripping oil. Twin rotary saw arms spool up with a teeth-rattling scree. Shoulder-mounted heavy shooter turrets swing toward us. The death dread bellows, a grinding metallic roar, maybe a loudhailer or a trapped pilot shrieking. It charges, feet thudding, tearing through debris. Those saws could open a tank like a tin of Grox meat. It's angling our way, maybe 400 meters and closing. Oh, throne, that's bad, I mutter, cold sweat prickling. Blast from our infantry pings uselessly from its hide. A brave guardsman shoulders an RPG and fires a missile at the dread's armor. The warhead explodes on the thing's chest in a gout of flame. But when the fire dissipates, the Ork Walker is still coming. Only a scorch mark to show for it. Damn sturdy piece of junk. I slap the intercom. Ox, new target. Def Dread bearing 10 buying, 350 men closing fast. Load penetrators now. Copy, Ox says, voice grim. He traverses the turret as Daniel yanks open the ammo locker containing our special shells. We have a few armor-piercing sabot rounds tipped with adamantine, meant for punching through heavy armor or tanks. We hadn't needed them until now. Dano hefts one up. It's heavy and finabilized, looking deadly even inert. Sabot loaded, he calls. I take a deep breath, steadying my aim through the sight. The Def Dread barrels forward straight down Avenue Alpha, smashing an abandoned civilian ground car out of its path like a toy. It's in full view now, about 250 my way. Its shooters start hammering, spraying large rounds at us. One of our viewports cracks and I duck down as a slug ricochets off the cupola armor inches from my head. Emperor. Damn it. No more time. I mash the firing stud. Ox, fire, Draco. The cannon sends the sabot screaming downrange with a distinctive sharp crack. I hold my breath watching. The Def Dread is mid-stride when the penetrator round hits it square in the torso, right below what looks like the cockpit housing. There's a brilliant flash and a plume of black smoke. For a heartbeat, I think it's done for. The Dread staggers, its left sore arm blowing completely off in a shower of sparks. It lists to one side, machinery grinding. Good hit, someone hollers. But the damn thing is still moving, half crippled, but not finished. It drags itself upright, one functional claw arm still slashing at the air, and resumes its charge, slower. Greenish hydraulic fluid and oily fire pour from the gaping hole in its chest, but I can see the hateful red eye lenses still glaring. Thrown alive, it's still coming, Dan exclaims, eyes wide. Ox is already loading another penetrator. Actually, he's remarkably cursing under his breath, something about the stubborn scrap heap, while guiding Daniel through slamming the next round in. Our last Sabo. We didn't expect to meet many enemy armor out here, aside from maybe a battle wagon or two. Stin, should I load another? Dan asks, voice shaky as he shoves the final AP round in place. Yes, and make it count. Driver, back up. Back up, I holler. Foss is already reversing more, trying to keep distance, but behind us is a pile of rubble and a crater, limiting how far we can go. Emperor's mercy jolts as we bump into some chunk of masonry, halting our retreat. No more room to run here. The Def Dread is at about 150 meter. I can practically see the pilot, an Ork Waaagh most likely, behind a vision slit, cackling as he spurs the walker on. Its one remaining buzzsaw spins faster, hungry for Imperial steel. Those heavy shooters on its shoulders open up again, peppering everything. One round punctures our external storage box, exploding our spare ration packs into mush. Another ricochet slams into Hale's sponson, and I hear him grunt. I'm fine, he yells immediately, though probably rattled. We fire again. Boom. The final AP round streaks out. At this range, it's impossible to miss such a hulking target. The penetrator slams right into the dread's center mass, where sparking wires and orc glyphs adorn its hull. This time the result is catastrophic. The shell punches through and detonates inside. The Ork walker erupts from within, plates of armor blowing off in all directions. Its remaining claw arm is torn loose and cartwheels away. A gout of flame shoots from the top hatch. The beast takes a few drunken steps, then collapses forward with a thunderous crash, right onto an unlucky squad of orcs in front of it. A cheer rises from our lines. The metal monstrosity is down for good now, just a heap of burning scrap and twitching severed limbs. I exhale a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Target destroyed, Ox confirms tersely, already scanning for the next priority. I give Danelle a quick slap on the shoulder, and he flashes a nervous grin, adrenaline pumping. Good work all around. That could have ended very badly for us. Serves you right, you rusty groans fondler. Levin growls at the fallen dread in satisfaction. But no time to rest. The battle still rages everywhere. The orc infantry are starting to falter now that their big toys are gone. I see many of the greenkins turning tail, lumbering back the way they came or ducking into ruins. The pressure on us lessens as their attack peters out. We seize the moment to go on a counter-offensive. Forward! Let's push the bastards, I call into Vox. We can't give them time to regroup. Voss doesn't need telling twice. He shifts to first gear and our tank lurches ahead, advancing with a roar. Nearby, surviving guardsmen see the tanks moving forward and rally, emerging from cover to join the advance with war cries of their own. Bayonets fixed, they move in to clear trenches and stab any orc too stupid or wounded to flee. Emperor's Mercy rolls over orc corpses and debris without mercy, firing on the move. I stand half out of the turret again, one hand on the pintle stubber's grips, scanning for targets. There, by the statue base, orcs with a cannon. I spot a trio of orcs manhandling what looks like a crude anti-tank cannon into position in a doorway. They're trying to line up a shot on us. Before they can, I swing the heavy stubber and rake them with fire. The stubber's chatter is a raw, violent tearing sound. The orc crew is caught in the open. One is ripped apart by my burst. Another collapses with a scream, and the third, a big lug, still manages to fire the cannon wildly as he dies. The shell whistles past our turret and explodes harmlessly behind. "Not today, you filth!" I snarl, spitting soot out of my mouth. My tongue tastes like ash and blood. I realize I bit the inside of my cheek at some point. We rumble past the shattered marble statue of the Emperor. Only his boots remain on the pedestal now. How fitting. Our heavy bolters spray left and right, mowing down retreating greenkins without pity. An orc tries to play dead, then pops up to fire at passing guardsmen. Levin's sponson gun blows the top of his head off. Another swings a cleaver at a nearby trooper. I put a stubber burst through its back and the beast goes down hard. As the dust settles, we find ourselves at roughly the original orc starting line. We've pushed them back. The street is littered with orc bodies, scrap, and broken weapons. The few survivors are fleeing into the dark ruins, howling in frustration. Sporadic las fire and the occasional grenade from our boys chase them deeper. For now, at least, the immediate threat is over. The company Vox channel crackles to life in my helmet. All units, fall back to phase line Delta. Repeat, fall back to phase line Delta for consolidation. It's our company commander, Captain Thorne. His voice is strained but controlled. I look around. We've advanced a bit far in our zeal, it seems. Phase line Delta is a pre-marked fallback line a little behind where we originally were. Likely our commanders want to regroup there and not get stretched out. And if I recall, they planned an artillery barrage in front of that line. Oh, Throne. They're going to shell this area. They must assume we cleared out orcs and want to finish the job with big guns. Copy that. Falling back now, I Vox say. Then I flip to intercom. All right, crew, orders from above. Pull back to our line on the double. They're calling in artillery on this zone. We have maybe 2 minutes until this whole street's an inferno. No argument. Voss throws us in reverse again, and we trundle back the way we came, adding a few extra orc corpses under our treads for good measure. Other guardsmen around us hear the whistles and voxes to retreat. They start running back as well, dragging wounded buddies or carrying salvaged ammo. It's a chaotic scramble, the kind that could turn into a rout if not for discipline. And commissars behind us make sure no one routs too hard. We cross back over the debris line and tank traps that mark phase line Delta. I see Captain Thorne's command tank. A Leman Russ Vanquisher variant named Indomitable, parked there with smoke seeping from a few holes. Still alive, though. Thorn himself stands out of his hatch, directing units with a power sword raised, his face bloodied but determined. He gives me a curt nod as we roll past into defensive formation next to him. I return a thumbs up. Mercy here. We're across the line, I vox to command, letting them know our unit is clear. Seconds later, the night is torn open by a new sound, the shriek of incoming artillery shells. Then, all hell erupts, 100 meters in front of us. Earthshaker rounds from our supporting Basilisk battery begin landing in a planned pattern. We had pre-sighted coordinates in case we had to yield ground. Looks like that plan's in effect. The ground shakes and flashes as the heavy shells obliterate anything left on that street. Columns of fire and dirt rise up, each blast swallowing Ork wounded and stragglers in an instant. The shockwaves slap against our tank even at a safe distance, the noise rolling over us in continuous thunder. A broken hab block that some orcs were hiding in disappears in a single hit, collapsing into a cloud of dust and flame. It's beautiful in a brutal way, the Emperor's cleansing fury delivered by high explosives. Levan whoops through the intercom, thoroughly enjoying the spectacle. I allow myself a savage grin as well. Better them than us. When the barrage finally ceases, a deep silence falls, broken only by the crackle of fires and the distant moans of the dying. Phase line Delta holds. Our lines are secured for now. Inside the tank, for the first time in what feels like hours, we let ourselves breathe. My heart is pounding, sweat trickling into my eyes. I realize I've been running on pure adrenaline and the grace of the Emperor. Now that the immediate threat is gone, a wave of exhaustion hits me. My arms feel like lead, ears are ringing, and every muscle is tense or aching. All crew, status check. I pant into the intercom. Everyone all right? One by one, they answer. Driver here. I'm all right, comes Voss's steady monotone. Gunner, good. Minor bump on the head, Ox says. I glance over and see a trickle of blood on his temple, where he probably knocked against the scope, but he's brushing it off. Loader, I'm okay, sir, Dan replies between gulping breaths. He's utterly drenched in sweat and looks like he might vomit from adrenaline crash, but he's alive and whole. Left sponson all good, Hale pipes, voice shaky but enthusiastic. Right sponson still kicking, Levan grumbles. I can see him through the internal hatch, wiping grime off his cybernetic eye calmly as if we just finished a training drill. Hard, old bastard. We did it, Emperor. We actually did it. We held the line, then pushed the enemy back. This position is ours again. I open the top hatch and climb out fully, standing on the turret for a better look at the aftermath. The evening sky is dark now, tinged with the orange glow of burning wrecks and spitting fires all around. The acrid smell of prometheum, burnt flesh and dust hits me full on, making me cough. But I gulp in the relatively fresh air anyway, relishing it after that tank stench. All along the line, guardsmen are emerging from cover, surveying, tending to the wounded, reloading weapons. A few victorious shouts echo in the darkness, cautious, tired cheers. We all know this was just one battle of many, but morale gets a needed boost from any win. The street before us is a nightmare carpet of carnage. Mutilated orc bodies lie strewn about, some still twitching or smoldering. Black blood, nearly tar-like, pools in craters and drips from shattered masonry. Here and there, a fallen guardsman or PDF soldier lies among them, red mixing with green. The Medicae teams move swiftly, checking any human forms for life. One wounded guardsman near our tank is screaming for his mother, half his leg gone below the knee. A medic kneels, injecting him with something to quiet the shock, while another begins tourniquet work. The screams fade to whimpers. I bite my lip. We took losses, no doubt about it. Hard to say how many in the dark, but any is too many. Still, it could have been far worse had we faltered. Behind me, Emperor's Mercy hisses and pings as metal cools. The old girl is banged up. I see dozens of fresh dings in the armor, a nasty gouge where a large caliber round almost penetrated the side skirt. One of the smoke launchers on the turret just gone, blown off by something, and the left track with a slight sag. Maybe a suspension issue or a bent roller from our aggressive driving over debris. But she's intact, running, and still a fearsome sight. I pat the scorched metal of the turret fondly. Good girl, I murmur to the tank quietly, thanking its machine spirit for not giving out on us. The Leman Russ is a rugged machine, Not the fastest or fanciest, but Emperor knows it can take a beating and keep fighting. Danel clambers out of his loader's hatch below me, sucking in deep breaths of open air. He has a wild look in his eyes, that mixture of terror and exhilaration that comes after surviving your first real slugfest. He lights an Ilho stick, a cheap Elho cigarette, with trembling hands and takes a long drag, trying to steady himself. His hands are still shaking, leaving trails of smoke scribbles in the air. I hop down off the tank to ground level and stretch my stiff limbs. My knees pop, my back protests. Hours inside a turret, contorted in firing stance, will do that. Emperor's mercy truly applies to letting my spine straighten for a minute. All around, the sounds of battle have given way to the sounds of after-battle, moans, crackling fires, the distant clank of armored vehicles repositioning, shouted orders from sergeants reforming squads, the occasional single gunshot as someone puts an orc out of its misery, or a commissar administers discipline. I don't ask. It's a lull, a brief, uneasy lull in this war. Captain Thorne approaches on foot, stepping over rubble toward my tank. He's helmetless, revealing cropped gray hair matted with blood from a scalp wound. Despite that, he's grinning wolfishly. "Hell of a show, Steen," he says, voice raspy from Vox hollering. He gestures with his chains toward the smoldering Def Dread husk down the avenue. "That kill's going in the after-action report for sure." I give a tired salute. "Thank you, sir. Couldn't let that bastard carve up our line." "Indeed. Good work from you and your crew." His eyes flick to Danel, who snaps upright nervously and almost drops his smoke, then to Ox, who has emerged from the turret to lean wearily against the cup ring. "All of you. Cadia would be proud." At the mention of Cardia, a pang goes through me. Cadia, our destroyed homeworld. I seldom talk about it. No point dwelling on a dead planet. But hearing the captain's praise framed that way actually means something. I swallow the lump in my throat and nod. "Cadia stands in the spirit of her son, sir." "Damn right." Thorne claps a hand on my shoulder, then his face turns businesslike. "We'll get maybe a few hours before they try again. Consolidate your ammo and fuel. Engine Sierran will make rounds to perform any emergency repairs on your tank. We've requested resupply from the rear, Emperor willing. They'll send some promethium and shells before dawn." He sighs, rubbing his eyes. "Intelligence suggests the orcs threw about a third of their local forces at us in this assault. They'll likely come back twice as hard by morning." By morning, Emperor, the thought makes me feel even more exhausted. But this is the Guard. You fight until you can't, then you fight some more. "We'll be ready, sir," I assure him, squaring my shoulders. Emperor's mercy can still bite. Might need a tread adjusted and a top-up on the main gun shells. But we'll hold. Good man. He offers a rare, genuine smile to me and the crew. "Now catch a little shut-eye if you can." "That's an order. I need my tankers alive and sane tomorrow." Emperor knows the infantry look to you lot for backbone. With that, he moves off to debrief another tank crew nearby, limping slightly. I exhale and turn back to my tank, running a hand over my sweat-soaked scalp under my helmet. "Sleep, Emperor. I could pass out right here on the ground, but there's work first." "All right, lads, you heard him," I call out. "Get this girl resupplied and patched quick. Then we rest while we can." Levan and Hale are already examining the left track by lantern light. "One of the links is bent all to grox," Hale reports, poking at it with a pry bar. Levin grunts. "We got spare links. Better to replace now than have it snap in combat." Despite just living through a nightmare, the old Vorstroan is back to practical matters. Bless him. Make it so. Ox, give them a hand with the track if needed. "Danel, with me. We're grabbing shells. There's a mobile munitions depot, a couple of Chimera carriers loaded with ammo, pulling up not far behind." Danel stubs out his Ilho stick and follows me, still wide-eyed and jittery but functional. We managed to scourge a half dozen 120 mm shells of various types. 2 frag, 2 standard armor piercing, 1 high explosive, 1 smoke round. Never know when you need a smoke screen. It's not a full restock by any means, but it's what they can spare immediately. We lug them back to the tank one by one, our muscles screaming with each 40 kilo shell hefted. We carefully stow them in the empty racks inside. Each shell slid into place feels like added security for tomorrow. Meanwhile, an Adeptus Mechanicus Ingensior, a tech priest with whirring mechadendrites, scuttles over to inspect our machine. He chants Binaic prayers under his breath as he evaluates the damage. He fusses at the cracked Auspex scopes, reconnects a few wires that shook loose in the turret, and sprinkles sacred unguents. Smells like machine oil on Emperor's Mercy's engine block. We crew stand aside respectfully as he communes with the tank's machine spirit. The cult mechanicist types are weird, but we respect them. They keep our lifeline running. The engines turns his red optic gaze to me. Your Leman Russ's spirit is wroth but intact. Commander, he announces in a metallic rasp. I have done what I can. Replaced a damaged coitator fuse, recalibrated the turret linkage. The Omnissiah's blessings should see it functional. Appreciated, engine, I reply, offering a slight bow. I slip him a small tin of genuine machine oil I carry for such occasions. A little unofficial offering to grease the wheels, literally and figuratively. It's something I traded from a Navy supplier ages ago. Real rare stuff, and the tech priests love it. The engine seer accepts it with a clicking noise that might be satisfaction, then skitters off to the next needy vehicle. By the time all that is done, my crew is utterly spent. We climb back into the tank or lean against it, and basically slide into various states of collapse. The adrenaline is fading, leaving us with bone-deep fatigue, pain, and that emotional numbness that creeps in when you've seen too much in too short a span. I drop into the commander's seat with a thud, helmet off, eyes closing for a moment. Beside me, Ox is slumped against the turret ring, arms folded, not quite asleep, but definitely resting with eyes shut. Danelle has curled up in the loader's nook below, chewing on a protein bar and staring blankly at nothing. Hale and Levan are still outside, taking turns to stand guard and get a breath of real air. Through the open hatch, I can hear Hale quietly humming that little tune of his again. A soft melody amid the ruin, oddly soothing. Voss, ever the dutiful driver, is the only one still purposefully busy. He's down in his compartment, tinkering with something in the engine access panel by touchlight. Emperor, bless him. The man is obsessed with keeping the tank in top shape. I think fiddling with the machine calms him. He's probably double-checking the tension on the repaired track or relinking a frayed throttle cable. Finally, I call down. Voss, enough. She'll live till morning. Get some rest. A pause, then his soft reply. Aye, Sergeant. He closes the panel and settles back in the driver's seat. I doubt he'll truly sleep. He often just sits quietly, eyes closed, ready to snap awake at any sound. Fine by me. An extra pair of ears in the quiet hours isn't the worst. I pull out a dented canteen from my belt and take a swig of water. It's lukewarm and it tastes of recycled plasteel container. But Emperor, nothing ever felt so good trickling down my parched throat. I pass it around. Danelle eagerly gulps some. Ox takes a sip, then pours a bit on a rag to wipe his face. The simple comforts of a guardsman's life. Reaching into a small locker, I also retrieve a little tin cup and a packet of recaf powder. The Imperial Guard's sorry excuse for coffee. Daniel manages to rig a tiny heating coil on a last gun power pack, a trick all guardsmen learn. And soon we have a lukewarm bitter brew. It tastes like caffeinated dirt, but it's hot, and it's something other than blood in my mouth. We share that too, as much as there is. One by one, the crew's eyes get a little less haunted, breathing slows to something like normal. The immediate fire of combat is gone, leaving behind aches and a heavy, heavy mental toll. In the dim red glow of the turret's interior lamp, I see the faces of my comrades, soot-blackened, drawn, eyes either unfocused or squeezed shut in exhaustion. Danelle's youthful features are marred by a fresh burn on his cheek, probably from a hot shell casing that ejected wrong. Ox has a bruised swelling on his temple and dried blood in his stubble. Even Levan, who now sticks his upper body through the hatch to join us, looks older and wearier than he did this morning. New creases in the grime on his face. Hale plops onto a munitions crate, removing his flak helmet and running a hand through close-cropped hair, exhaling deeply. No one speaks for a while. What is there to say? We know we came out lucky. We also know it's likely to get worse tomorrow or the next day. But in this moment, we're alive and together. And that's enough. I break the silence gently. Hell of a fight today, boys. A few tired chuckles respond. Good shooting, Ox. You knocked out more tin cans than a scrapyard worker. I offer him a nod. Ox grunts acknowledgement, a ghost of pride on his face. You too, Levan. Hail. Those sponson guns saved our hides on the flanks. And Dan and I look at the kid who perks up slightly at his name. Dan, you did damn fine. Quick loading. Kept your head. You're a real tanker now. He manages a smile. A real one despite the fatigue. Just doing what you taught me, Sarge. Also, the fear of being eaten alive by orcs is good motivation. He laughs softly, a bit of that gallows humor shining through. We all laugh with him. A short, genuine laugh. It feels good to laugh, even quietly after that nightmare. Hale begins imitating the Ork warboss voice we heard earlier on their Vox amplifiers during the battle. Some brutish garbled threat. He waves his arms, mocking, "Is he going to stomp you flat, humies?" And then mimics the explosion that took the dread down. Boom, and slumps like a rag doll. It's morbid, silly, and absolutely hilarious. At this moment, Leman snorts and smacks Hale's shoulder, grinning. Ox actually cracks a lopsided smile. I chuckle and shake my head. The tension breaks further. This is how we cope. We joke, we smoke, we share a drink, we talk about absolute nonsense for a few minutes in the dark of the tank. Outside, the war still looms. The flicker of flares, the rumble of distant bombardments like an approaching storm. But inside here, we carve out a tiny island of camaraderie and mirth. I lean back, letting them banter a bit. Hale zing Dan about how he nearly pissed himself when the dread showed up. To which Dan retorts that everyone did, and he saw Hale singing soprano when that first shell hit nearby. Levan gruffly telling Voss he drives like a drunken grow, but doing it with a wink that acknowledges the skill it took. Ark's advising Levan on how to adjust his bolter's belt feed spring for next time. Small talk, black humor, war stories exchange. Typical tanker winddown. Eventually, the chatter fades. We're simply too spent to continue. One by one, my crew drifts into an uneasy doze. Levan and Hale volunteer for the first watch rotation. One will stay half awake, listening for trouble, while the other rests, then swap. Technically, we're behind our lines, relatively safe, but no one ever truly relaxes in a war zone. I take off my flak helmet and set it on a hook. My short-cropped hair is matted with sweat and grime. I run a gloved hand through it, feeling grit and probably a few new nicks on my scalp from bouncing around inside that turret. I reach into my pocket and pull out a small, battered metal locket. Popping it open reveals a tiny, faded pict of a woman and a little girl. My wife and daughter years ago back on Cadian, back when I had a family, a life outside war. They're gone now, lost with Cadian itself when the planet cracked apart. I don't show this to anyone. It's my private anchor. I gaze at it under the dim light for a long moment, my thumb brushing the girl's face. Emperor, she had her mother's eyes. Quietly, I whisper, "I'm still fighting. I'm still here." It's not quite a prayer, not quite a promise, just a thought cast into the void to loved ones beyond the veil if they can hear. I snap the locket shut and tuck it away safely in my flak vest. No time for ghosts of the past. Morning will bring ghosts enough. Climbing halfway out of the hatch, I perch on the turret edge to get a bit of fresh night air before trying to sleep. The sky is a dull red-gray canvas from all the fires and bombardment, but a few stars peek through faintly. Funny, somewhere far away, people are probably living normal lives under these same stars, oblivious to the carnage on this world. It's a bitter thought, but also comforting in a strange way. The lines are quiet for now. I see the shapes of other tanks in our company parked in a rough leaguer around the crossroads. Their crews doing the same as us, resting, repairing, mourning. The infantry have dug new foxholes and reinforced barricades, preparing for whatever tomorrow brings. A couple of sentries walk by our tank. Last guns at the ready, silhouettes against the glow. One of them, a young guardswoman with a bandaged arm, looks up at me and flashes a weary smile. "Good shooting out there, tanker," she calls softly. I raise a hand in acknowledgement. "Likewise, guardswoman. We couldn't have done it without your lot covering us." She nods and moves on. There's mutual respect between us and the poor bloody infantry. They know a tank draws a lot of fire, sparing them some. And we know without their lost guns swarming around us, we'd be overrun by enemies on foot. The Emperor's war machine only functions when all the cogs play their part. Somewhere further behind I hear laughter, Emperor, laughter and music. Faint but real. Likely some rear-line support squad, or maybe a medic tent where someone turned on a chirpy old Imperial marching tune over a Voxcaster to lighten the mood. The melody drifts over the ruins, oddly jarring yet heartening. It reminds me of dances on Cadian in the summer evenings after drills. Brief moments of joy snatched from a life of discipline a lifetime ago. I find myself humming along under my breath before I even realize it. A few notes, then I catch Levan eyeing me from below with a smirk. Embarrassed, I clear my throat and climb back down inside. Right. Everyone try to get some sleep. We'll likely be up before dawn. I pull the hatch shut, plunging us into a snug, insulated darkness. In here, it's warm. Our life support heaters keep the chill out. Night desert temperatures can drop sharply, and the residual heat of our engine adds to it. Honestly, it's almost too warm and stuffy, but I prefer that to freezing. The smell in the tank has mellowed from acrid battle to a less sharp concoction of oil, sweat, and metal. To me, that's the scent of home by now. Finding a semi-comfortable position in a tank to sleep is an art. We've all got our methods. Voss reclines in the driver's seat, back against the bulkhead, helmet over his face. Ox just leans where he is, arms folded, snoring lightly. How someone can snore sitting upright in a tank, I'll never know, but he does. Dan has curled up on the floor under a stowage net using a bundled tarp as a pillow. Hale is half out of his sponson, stretched with a blanket over his torso, and Levan sits at the gun doing the first watch with one eye closed and the other scanning lazily. I settle back into the commander seat and allow my body to relax fully for the first time in what feels like days. Every part of me throbs or aches. I inventory quietly. Bruised shoulder, likely from getting slammed when we rammed that warbike. Minor cut on my left forearm. No idea when I got that. There's dried blood, but it's clotted. A persistent ringing in my right ear. And of course the general soreness that comes from being rattled around inside 30 tons of moving steel, but nothing serious. Still alive, still capable. For a guardsman after a major battle, that's hitting the Emperor's lottery. My eyes grow heavy as I stare at a spot on the ceiling where someone long ago scratched a crude Aquila Imperial double-headed eagle into the paint. It's tradition almost to leave a little mark of faith inside your tank. Our interior is full of such graffiti. Devotional script here, a pinup pic there, tallies of orcs killed. Levan added 5 to his personal count tonight with chalk near his bolter mount. Even a faded Sinindra. Who knows who Sinindra was? But one of Mercy's past crew had a girl in some hive city he fancied. I guess these personal touches remind me that countless humans have sat where I sit, fought like I fight, loved and feared, and died in vehicles like this across the galaxy. We carry the torch from one battle to the next. In some distant future, if mankind still stands, they'll speak of guardsmen like us as legends or as faceless statistics. But right now, in the moment, we're just flesh and blood people trying to get through another day. I feel sleep creeping in finally. As I drift off, I mumble a half-remembered prayer. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall know no fear, for the Emperor is my shield and my protector. It's something my mother taught me as a boy on Cadian. Funny the things that surface in these quiet moments outside. The war mutters in its sleep, distant booms, the crack of a sniper shot somewhere. Perhaps a scream quickly cut off. But those sounds fade as my consciousness dims. I dream fitfully. In my dream, I'm inside the tank, but it's different. The walls are closing in, the light's dead. I'm shouting, but no sound comes. Orcs climb all over the hull, pounding and tearing. The metal screeches as a power claw punches through, grabbing at me. I'm stuck, unable to move as the claw clamps my chest. Just as it's about to crush me, the scene shifts, and I see Cadia sky burning. The chaos moon crashing down. I see my daughter reaching for me. Then she's gone in ash. I jolt awake with a gasp, heart hammering. It takes a moment to realize I'm still in Emperor's mercy, safe relatively. The red glow of the interior, the gentle vibration of the idling engine. These are reality. I run a hand over my face. Just a nightmare. Add it to the collection. I have many. I glance around. No one else stirred. Good. I wouldn't want them seeing their fearless sergeant spooked by dreams. According to my chrono, it's been maybe an hour or two. Not nearly enough, but I feel a bit clearer. And I notice something. The horizon through a vision slit shows the faintest hint of gray. Dawn is coming. Time to wake the others. I hate to do it. They look so peaceful, or at least not actively miserable. But duty calls. I gently tap Ox's shoulder with my boot. Rise and shine, Ox. He grunts and opens one eye. Already? Afraid so. Morning's about to break. Emperor's given us another day. He rolls his neck and reaches for his helmet. Then we'd best return the favor and give him another battle. One by one I rouse the crew. Hale and Levan have already been up on watch and swapped once. Voss snaps awake like a combat automaton. 1 second he's out, next he's alert at the controls. Done his lust. Poor kid was dead to the world. I actually have to yank away the top he used as a blanket. He jumps up with a start, blinking. Time already. Time to dance, loader, I say. Riley prepped the ready rack and double-checked the elevation gear. We're back to work. He nods, rubbing his eyes and moving to his tasks, stifling a yawn. Outside, a whistle blows and sergeants shout for guardsmen to stand too. In the trenches and foxholes, weary soldiers pick up their last guns and man their positions, eyes on the darkness beyond. This is the most nerve-wracking time, dawn, when attacking forces often strike, using the sun in their enemies' eyes or simply counting on fatigue to dull us. But we Guard know this trick. We live this cycle. I lift my head through the hatch and a blade-cool dawn wind cuts my cheeks, shockingly fresh after yesterday's furnace of smoke and heat. It carries cordite and rot and maybe the ghost of dew, or chemical residue pretending to be it. Hard to tell. Nothing out here smells clean. Across no man's land, the horizon pales. Jagged ruins stand like black teeth against an orange seam that might soon be the sun. A low fog crawls in patches, temperature drop meeting dust and ash, eddying around burned-out hulls and crater lips until the whole field looks haunted. Somewhere in that murk the orcs are mustering. You don't need a sanctioned witch to feel it. They were hurled back last night, so they'll come again. Maybe not bang on first light. They're not clever about clocks, only stubborn about killing. They'll surge when they've worked themselves back into a froth, dawn, noon, or whenever some brute bellows loud enough. I thumb the Vox and skim the net, status pings from the other platoons. Mostly steady, the manufacturing district perimeter holds. No major breaches, a few potshot snipers, and one luckless grot stumbling into a minefield, which earns dark laughter over the channel. Then Captain Thorne's voice cuts clean through the chatter. All units. Auspex shows multiple contacts massing north-northwest beyond the Habs. Greenkins preparing a counterattack. Stand to, weapons ready. Visual in minutes. Let's remind them who owns this ground. Thorne out! I drop back inside. You heard the man. They're coming. The crew trade looks tired, yes, but set. We dog the hatches and bring everything to redline. Voss teases the throttle. The engine's growl deepens, eager to lunge. Ox trims the sights to the flat gray of morning. Gunner ready, all business. Danel slaps the racks with a palm, enough shells at hand, not endless. Loader ready, he says, wiping sweat onto his fatigues. Hale and Levin rack their heavy bolters and walk the belts, the click-clack of the feeds a steadying metronome. Sponson's ready, comes their call. I tug the pintle stubber's cover, thread a fresh belt, then check my bolt pistol and set it by the seat. Lesson learned. If a York tries to ride us again, he gets a bolt to the face before he can grin. I breathe and feel my pulse climb, fear and anticipation braided together. Even now, the edge right before it starts makes the nerves sing. Anyone who claims they don't feel it is lying or dim. Courage isn't a lack of fear. It's doing the job anyway, and we're about to. Crew of Emperor's Mercy, I say over intercom, voice calm. Watch each other's backs. Call targets. Pace shots. We ate their charge before. We'll do it again. For Cadian, for the Emperor. The reply comes firm. For the Emperor. Even Voss growling it like a vow. I steal a glance through the vision slit. Shapes peel from the mist. Far down the broken avenue. Green hulks by the dozen. No, by the 100. They shuffle at a jog, hooting and howling, beating weapons on scrap shields and deck plates to whip themselves up. As the light grows, the horror shows its full face. Ork counterattack, wave 2, reinforced. Ork boys in thick mobs churn forward. Among them rattle war buggies and half-tracks, engines baying as they try to leapfrog the tide. Out on the flanks, bigger profiles, war bikes, maybe light walkers. And Throne help us. Parading right down the main thoroughfare with banner-waving Gretchen, something massive. Looks like a knob, but triple the bulk. A patchwork of armor slabs, a power claw spitting arcs. A war boss, has to be. He's bellowing and flinging his arms, herding his swarm with promised slaughter. I crank magnoculars, there it is. Cybernetic eye, a metal-forged jaw, likely the warlord of this lot. He's mine if I can line him, but for now, opportunity targets. All units, enemy in sight. Open fire. Thorne's order lands the heartbeat the first orcs hit the range stake, and our world detonates. Boom, boom, boom. Tanks and heavies crack in near unison. Dawn is shredded into muzzle flash and strobing las. Traces carve the gray. In seconds, the street is a butcher's lane again. Emperor's Mercy adds her hymn. Ox centers a juicy cluster around the warboss and Thum, drops a shell straight into them. The blast is a brutal blossom, Gretchen's standard bearers tossed like ragdolls, limbs pinwheeling. Through the clearing grit, I watch the warboss stagger. Shrapnel scored him, but he's up, roaring hot. Tough son of a bogo, fine. We'll spoon him seconds. Our sponsons pound in hard rhythm. Hale and Levin rake dense knots, heavy bolter torrents chewing ranks into rows. Bodies heap. Still they surge, spraying filthy shooters. A ripple of crude rockets coughs in. Most whip high or wide, bursting behind or overhead. One punches the ground in front, a dirt wall slamming our view. The hull jolts, maybe a track clip, but nothing vital. From the right, an Ork half-track bursts from a side alley, the bed crammed with boys firing and waving choppers, angling to scythe our infantry. "Intercept that half-track, three of you," I bark. Voss swings us. Ox slews and snaps an AP shot. Boom. The engine block disappears. The frame skips and dies. Sponson fire walks across the dismounting mob, threshing them mid-leap. Last from our lads finishes the rest, one threat down. They answer viciously. Slugs and shells spark across our plates like devil rain. A particular crack rings the turret, some tank booster's rocket smacking our crown. Sparks spume through the slit. Warning glyphs wink and die. Only a dent. Thank the Mechanicus iron in our skin. Infantry squads, watch for tank busters in the buildings. Ivox. Already a pair of plasma guns on our side light an upper floor where a rocket trail flashed. The windows go white-blue, and Ork screams boil in the glare. The warboss still rallies, driving by existence alone. He charges, unthinkably fast for that bulk, ghosting behind a wrecked chimera to blunt our cannon. As he steps off its far side, we lace him with stubber and sponsons. Sparks skid from slabbed armor. A heavy bolter burst peels half a pauldron, he laughs. The bastard laughs, a deep drum roll from his chest. Inconceivable, Ox mutters. He's soaking it. Concentrate the warboss, I snap. Load crack. Pop him like a blister. Dan drops a crack-high penetration anti-armor shell. Ox settles the bead, nearly point blank at maybe 80 meters, as the brute vaults rubble with the claw scything. The shot hits dead on. White burst, a spray of green ruin. When it clears, the warboss kneels. One arm's gone at the elbow, black blood sluicing, half a face cratered, yet he claws at standing. My God, Emperor, what kills this thing? Before he can find his feet, a squad of Cadian Kasurkin. Emperor, I didn't know they'd been dropped here. Cut from a side alley. 6 ghosts moving as one. Hotshot last guns stitch the splits our blast made. The warboss swats one caserin into a wall like linen, no telling he got up, but the others flow. Boom. A melter gunner steps into breath range and pours a point-blank stream. The boss's head and chest boil to vapor. He topples like a felled tree, smoking from the ribs out. A roar surges from every guardsman near enough to see. I bare my teeth. Warboss down. Target eliminated, I broadcast. That'll split the Orks' morale. It does. Some mobs hitch, confused without their howling son. Push them, lads. Everything. We grind forward slow and murderous. Our hull and a pair of sisters laying a scything wall while the infantry ghosts in our shadow, firing, screaming for the Emperor. Remember Cadian. No mercy for the Xenos. Leadership gone, numbers butchered. You can feel the turn. War energy curdles to escape instinct. Some still claw like cornered beasts, but many break, bellowing and backing, then flat out running. Route is blown wide. A whoosh and a hammer blast yank my gut. Fire boils on our left. I snap round. Iron Fist just took a kill shot. The turret is simply gone, replaced by a torching geyser. The whole list. Ammo cooks with popping flashes. Emperor, that was a heavy anti-tank bite. From the smoke, a new monster strides, an Ork stomper, of all cursed things. Where in the 9 hells was it squatting? A walking idol to Gork or Mork, who can say, some super heavy walker, Titan's little brother. Not full-sized, throne be praised, but still 3, 4 tanks tall, a totem of claws and cannons. And it just erased Iron Fist with a belly-mounted gigahash shooter or whatever witchery they bolt on. Dread prickles my spine, too much for battered hands. Then I clock its gait. Lamed. It's already been savaged. Black smoke pours from its back. A crater yawns in its flank. Our artillery or flyers must have kissed it earlier. It's limping in for a last throw. Target that stomper, all available units, Thorn thunders. I glance across at his command tank. He's already got a Lasan team braced and spearing beams into the rent side. A Manticore rocket sighs from our rear and drills the shoulder. An armor plate sails off, but the brute clumps on, stepping right over a wreck and crushing some poor sod too slow to roll. Ox, AP penetrators, aim for the breach, I say, knuckles white on the rim. He slides in our last dedicated AP, stores are thin. Dan's jaw sets as he rams it home. Through the sight, arcs show the gash, wiring snarled like innards, maybe the ammo bin. Firing, he growls. Boom, the penetrator lances in and vanishes inside. A held breath, then secondary blasts ripple up the torso. The left arm, a giant claw, blows free in a tumbling arc. Direct, it's cooking, Daniel whoops. The walker lets out a dying beast grind. It tries to heave the main gun for one bitter shot, but a stream of bright last bolts from Thorn's Vanquisher chews its bad knee. The joint goes. The beast cants and then tips in slow, awful grace. The ground slams under tons of ruin, flattening a cluster of orcs beneath. A cheer rips the line. The last of the orcs don't even posture after that. Boss dead, Stomper wrecked, numbers bled. What's left runs for the alleys and whatever hole birthed them. Our boys chase a short stretch, vengeance in their lungs. A few strafe while they fall back, but most just run. I stand out of the hatch, peel my helmet, and drink the morning. Smoke thick, victory salted. We did it. Emperor be praised. We held again. A laugh shakes loose, half sob, half roar. Drive 'em, lads, don't let 'em regroup, someone howls. A squad of Cadans thunders past to chase, until the captain reins them from overreach, discipline. We've retaken the district. Enough. No sense bleeding ourselves outside our guns. I sag against the turret, suddenly aware of the weight of me. We're alive. By miracle, iron and instinct. Emperor's mercy and her souls are intact. I peer down. Danel's grinning so wide it splits the grime. He's a heartbeat from tears or a laugh or both. Ox lets a rare whoop fly and punches the air once. Voss cracks his hatch and actually smiles, a nod from the quiet man. Hale pokes up from the sponsor, blinking. Is it over? Did we win? Looks that way, I croak. For today, in this Emperor-forsaken city, we won. Cheers ripple ragged down the line, kit clacking against plates. No parade crispness, just the honest howl of the unsurvivable who somehow survived. I add my fist to the turret in a primal drumbeat. Emperor's mercy answers with a deep, happy clang, like the old girl sharing the grin. Infantry gather around the fallen war boss and the Stomper, planting Imperial flags with gales of curses and laughter. One joker lifts the boss's severed cyberclaw like a champion's cup. A chimera rolls by with troopers riding high, chanting a vulgar guard cadence about green-skin soup for supper. Even the Kumisa let it ride. Morale is a weapon, and Throne knows we earned this breath. Captain Thorn grinds up beside us. He rises in his cupper and snaps a salute. Damn fine work, 18th. The Emperor himself must be grinning at the tally you sent to hell today. He aims for formal, but relief leaks through his eyes. My throat is sand, voice ragged, but I manage it. Cadia stands. I don't throw that out often, but right now it fits, and the words leap. Others take it up. Cadia stands, even non-Cadians, because it's bigger than a dead world. It's defiance. Cadia stands means humanity stands, the guard stands, unbroken. I close my eyes in the roar and offer a silent thanks to the God Emperor, if not for protection, then at least for his dark humor in keeping me breathing. And to the fallen we honored with this win. When I look again, Daniel's wiping his cheeks, twin clean tracks through soot. He catches me seeing, rubs fast, and I pretend I didn't. All right, I say, heaving fully out to stretch. Breaks over in 10. We've still got a job. Secure the area, flush stragglers, get casualty reports. They groan, good-natured. The work is never done, but our boots feel lighter as we drop to it. Even crusty Levan hums an old regimental line while snaking a cleaning rod through his bolter. I hop down and nearly fold. The legs go jelly and a hot sting lances my left knee. Twisted earlier, no doubt. Rapid and push. Another notch on the body ledger. We walk Mercy's perimeter, taking stock. She looks like the devil. Scored, blackened, pockmarked by 100 kisses. A forward tread guard is simply missing. The coax stubber mount is chewed by a near miss, but every bite glanced. Nothing punched into the crew box. I pat the plate like a hound. You beauty. Damn well done. Hale hears me sweet-talking and laughs. Careful, Sarge. She'll get a big head and demand holy oil every day. If that's the tithe, we pay it, I answer. She kept us living. Best machine in the Guard. And it's true. Somewhere along the years and wounds, steel and souls overlap. Machine spirit or not, she's one of us. Then come grimmer duties, counting hours, lifting wounded, finishing any orc that still gurgles. A few do, none get mercy. A last shot or cold steel ends it. The street is a slaughterhouse, but ours now. A medic insists on dousing a cut on my brow with antiseptic. I hadn't felt it until it burns like hive acid. Minor compared to some occupational tax. We find Iron Fist's carcass and pull 2 crew who tried to bail. Too late. We tarp them and stand quiet. One was a mate of Ox's from training. I set a hand on Ox's shoulder. He stares a long second at the sheet and nods once. We'll tell their families proper, I say. He grunts, grief later. We know the drill. As the churn settles, I climb onto Mercy again for a look. Full sun now, gold on devastation. Smoke ladders from a dozen fires. Green corpses outnumber human by far. This slice of city belongs to us again. Civilians, what few hidden cellar shadows start to peer out. They'll get food, water, lifts out, as soon as the rear dogs can spool the aid lines. That's their theater. We frontliners punch the ticket. Thorn gathers the EOS tank commanders for a quick huddle. He's already on the Vox with Haya, and words like combination and honor roll float by. Maybe we get a nod bigger than a stale biscuit. I won't bet rations, but nice to hear. He raps and turns to us. The Ork remnants are pulling toward the spaceport. The main assault here is broken. Emperor willing. Relief drops in days, and we'll push to clean the outskirts. A cheer from a lieutenant. Until then, stay sharp, Thorn says. Crew's tight, tanks running. The greenies might nip with raids or saboteurs, but they're broken here. A thin smile. Damn fine work, all. Dismissed, I lean against Mercy's warm flank. The command rush ebbs. I'm hollowed out. Hands tremble. Post-fight shakes. Uniform crusted with blood spatter. More theirs than mine. And I look like something crawled out of a flamer pit. Doesn't matter. Donnell trots up with a canteen. Actually cool water from a purifier the tech spun up. I drink deep. It tastes like the Emperor's own reservoirs. He grins. Sarge, you've got, he points. I rub at the green smear caked on my cheek. Hazards of the trade, kid. Daniel's eyes light. I still can't believe it. We faced all that and we're standing here. I hook an arm around his shoulders. Believe it. You did good. All of you. First big one for you? He nods. First of this scale. Yes, sir, I was terrified. Good, I say. Fear keeps you living. When you don't feel it, you're either too dumb to smell death or already done. We all feel it. What you do while it's chewing your gut, that's what counts. He chews that, then asks low. Were you afraid, sir? I look over the piles. Every damn second, Ro, I tell him. But I trust my crew and my tank. That sees me through, he smiles. I trust you too, Sarge, we all do. He hesitates. I heard you shout earlier. Cadia stands. I think it does, in us. A lump forms. Thanks, kid. I cough it down and put the bark back on. Enough sentiment. Clean her up and rearm for the next op. In a buckled side mirror, I catch a ghost of me. Face smeared, eyes shot, 1,000-yard stare softening to something human. The reflection gives a weary smirk back. A battered sergeant who's seen more than most can picture and still puts boots down. We made it, I tell him. The day slides into the dull labor of aftermath. Optics and barrels scraped free of gore. Donnell cursing at a gob of orc flesh jammed in the traverse gear. Disgusting duty. Levin and Hale jury-rig a left tread guard and bring tension back to nominal. Voss clears a clogged intake and hums at the engine's purr. Ox tallies shells and haggles Munitorum crates into our orbit. Everyone wears their craft. It isn't glorious, but it's what wins. War is 90% waiting and wrenching and 10% sheer terror. You live the quiet stretches by shrinking your world to the next bolt, the next wisecrack, the next mouthful, the next black joke. Hold the big horrors at arm's length until night pries them open. Toward evening, with the district calm and pickets posted, I climb the hull again to steal a minute. The others write letters to what passes for home or steal rest. In the blood-red dusk, the skyline is jagged spires and plumes, a breeze teasing some haze away. Beyond, mountain smudge, the sun slipping behind. It's strangely beautiful after so much rot. I think about the next square on the board. The war's far from done. Maybe we push the line to the next city or chase them to the spaceport. Maybe we pull a quiet sector, Or maybe tomorrow a different nightmare drops from the sky, tyrannids, chaos. Take your pick. In the Guard, the only surety is another battle. But tonight at least we get one pocket of peace. I pull the little locket and crack it. In the ebbing light, I whisper to the tiny pie seat inside, I'm still here. I'm fighting on for you for all of us. Maybe ghosts here, maybe not. Saying it lifts a stone off my ribs. I snap it shut and slide it home. Dropping down, I spot fresh paint near the driver's hatch, white strokes on gray. I lean in and grin, a grinning skull chewing an orc jawbone, and next to it, brutal life. Half slogan, half inside joke. Hale's scrawl probably, or Daniel trying his hand at clever. Brutal life, true enough. The lot of a tanker in the 41st millennium is beyond brutal. Fire and steel, brain-rattling thunder and blood, a treadmill of horrors. We endure cramped compartments, bone-shaking hits, the sudden death lottery. We see what sane men shouldn't, do what ordinary men couldn't. It's ugly and unending, but it's ours. We hold it fierce because someone has to strap in and drive iron beasts straight at darkness, shielding others with plated hearts and breaking the foes of man with high explosive righteousness. That's us, Imperial Guard tanker, the unbreakable backbone of the Emperor's hammer. I run my fingers over the fresh strokes and chuckle. Brutal life. You got that right. I step back and take her in, battle-scarred, smoke-shadowed, wrapped in victory's colors. Emperor's mercy isn't shiny or new, but she's glorious to me. A survivor like her crew. Night climbs. Twin moons rise over a quieted field. We gather for a rough meal beside the hull, ration stew by a hissing cooker, protein gyarl and recaf, and Ox produces a Sacra bottle from a wrecked hab the orcs missed. It burns and it's perfect. We talk about nothing, on purpose. Hale bungles a body joke about a sister of battle and a space wolf until Levan shushes him for murdering the punchline. We laugh anyway. Danel pries a story from Voss about his home hive, and the man actually paints it past 2 words. The mega foundries, almost fond. We skirt the dead. That's for later letters and quiet corners. Tonight we sit in the fact of being alive together. One by one they peel off for real sleep. Proper centuries are posted. Not our turn. Infantry owes us that much after today. I sit against the turret and count the first stars pricking through. Less smoke now, mostly straight columns from burn piles. The air still tastes like death and promethium, but there's a faint new note underneath. Hope. Danel's already fallen asleep atop rolled tops, flak jacket as pillow, a half smile on his face. That warms more than Sacra. By the Emperor's grace, he'll grow into an old bastard like Levan, scaring recruits with embroidered tales. I hope so. Inside, Hale snores, claimed the turret floor, calls it coziest. Levin lights an alhostic and ghosts a lazy perimeter, vigilant even off duty. Ox and Voss murmur over gunnery settings. Those two never truly switch off. I close my eyes and let the weight finally land. My hands tremble again, aftershock, then unclench. It passes. The brutal life of a tank crew. No halos, no parade braids. Sweat, blood, tinnitus, dust in your teeth. Losing friends in awful ways and moving because the line says move. Long boredom bookended by slices of nightmare. Crude jokes, shared smokes, orders that feel impossible, somehow done anyway. Shield of the Imperium when the thin bodies need plating. Spear point when the line needs breaking. Throwing steel into the enemy, even as they try to crack you like an egg. It isn't for everyone. Emperor knows it's hardly for anyone sane. But it's for me. For those of us who found a strange home in the belly of the beast. Who feel more ourselves under a cannon's muffled thunder than in a soft bed. I wouldn't trade it. I slide back into the commander's seat and let go at last. My crew is safe around me. My tank stands sentry, a hulking guardian over our little camp. Outside the armor, the galaxy is still hungry. In here, for this night, there's quiet. As sleep pulls me under, I breathe one last thought into the turret's hush. This is our life. Brutal, yes, ours all the same, and by the Golden Throne. We wouldn't have it any other way. Static crackle, distant night wind. The scene dims. crew finally getting the sleep they earned beneath a sky of patient stars. Cadia stands. The Imperial Guard prevails. And tomorrow, if war calls, we'll ride out again. Engines howling, hearts set, to meet whatever horror dares threaten humanity. For the Emperor.